Morning, everyone. John McNamara, your Wilbur-Ellis Agronomist here at the Plattsmouth, Nebraska branch. As you can imagine, today is Friday, April 7th, and planting has begun here in Cass County, Nebraska. Albeit early, the soil temperature really isn't all that bad. It's about 47 degrees this morning at a 4-inch depth. And that's what we generally talk about this time of year as far as soil temperatures and should I plant now, should I wait? It's still dry from last year's dry weather. We're still kind of in the midst of a drought. What should we do? And my suggestion is always to do generally the same things that you always do. If you plant corn on the 15th of April, normally, I would plant corn on the 15th of April. My old adage is this: if I could plant corn in Cass County, Nebraska on one day to get it all done, if you could plant all your corn on one day, it would be April 20th. So I asked the question, how many days does it normally take you to plant your corn? If it's 10, I would start around the 15th of April and try to finish around the 25th. Now that's bearing the weather cooperates and you don't have any mechanical difficulties and that type of thing. But, that's always been my adage over the last 30 years, is trying to, think of it that way. I realize that next week the temperatures and soil temperatures and air temperatures are going to be quite warm in the 70s to 80s, which makes us get the spring fever. But some things to consider this spring. One is we always talk about planting depth and spacing and that type of thing. And especially in dry weather, especially in soil like this that's been worked, pretty powdery, you might be inclined to plant it to moisture. I'm going to plant it deeper, trying to find moisture. And in these conditions, you might be planting it really, really deep in order to do that. Just depends upon soil type and how dry you are in your area. My theory has always been this: plant corn depth at about 2 inches deep, especially this early when we still can have some varying soil temperatures or yo-yo effects. It gets cold at night. Last night it was 41 degrees, but the night before it was 18 for the soil temperature. Or air temperature, I should say. So the deeper you plant your corn, the more you minimize that radical soil temperature swings in temperature, especially in dry weather, dry conditions. Soil temperatures fluctuate a lot quicker. So 2-inch depth is about right. And you also want to consider your spacing. Now, this is a 32,000 population, and you can see that the depth is about right. And what I always use is basically this: some use their fingers, some use a screwdriver, a pocket knife, what have you. You're generally looking for uniformity as far as depth of about 2 inches. And I think that's about right. Controlling your air pressure on grades, planters get better and better every year at this, as far as uniformity and drop and spacing, which is also key and important. A couple other things to consider this year. As dry as it is, spring anhydrous, I would try to space that application from the time the anhydrous was applied to the time that you plant as much as possible. Anhydrous is a water-loving, soil moisture-robbing process in the conversion, and planting into anhydrous knife marks might have a bad effect as far as emergence and germination. So going to hope that we get some rain and we can plant into a little bit more of a moist situation as we go through the planting season.